Radio of Horror fans. Welcome to our first ever YouTube review. Yeah.
Yes, I am Dr. Chris, the host of Radio Horror, and this is Pamela Isley, my co-host.
Hi, everyone.
We are actually in the WCUW studios right now, the recording studio. We can do a little pan around shot later on to show you what it's like. We can actually do an entire tour of the WCUW studio at some point, which would be totally cool because we're community radio. YouTube's public YouTube community domain thing. We're here to talk about Thor, The Dark World, which we both saw individually. Pam's going to give you a more in-depth film critic review. I'm going to give you the comic book nerd mumbo-jumbo.
Alright, so here we go. I'll give you the quick plot rundown. We have Thor, who has returned to do battle against Malekith, played by Christopher Eccleston, who is Doctor Who himself, of course.
Number 9.
Number 9, for one season only, but
very, will not be memorable. In the movie. Coming up.
Very memorable. And he returns as Malekith, who is a dark elf who's been imprisoned by Asgardians by Thor's grandfather.
Thor.
Yep. And, so he's been in prison for quite some time after unleashing this evil magical device called the Ether. There's spoilers everywhere in this. Did we say that? Because there's spoilers everywhere. I'm going to tell you so many spoilers. Anyway, so the Ether gets out, and Jane Foster, played by Natalie Portman, Geek Goddess, Queen Amidala herself. Yes.
There are some major smooth hotties in this movie.
And trying to find Thor, finds the Ether and accidentally absorbs it and becomes pretty much a walking human weapon time bomb. And so the Dark Elves are trying to get this weapon back. It pretty much ensures the destruction of all 9 realms because they are that mad at the Asgardians that they are going to destroy the entire known universe. It makes them completely unsympathetic villains. I personally like a little more depth. I thought that was a little weak, just having to be like, we are so evil and we are going to destroy all 9 realms. Let's make this big-ass monster. So I wasn't a big fan, but Thor, in having to fight these dark elves who have spaceships, which is very strange since they're tree people, I thought it was weird. Has to let Loki out.
That comes a lot, by the way, from Jack Kirby. The way Jack Kirby designed the 9 realms and the entire Asgardian world when he created it back in Journey into Mystery, I believe, issue 87, and you can, of course, post in the comments. No, it's actually issue this. So I might be wrong because I'm not the biggest Thor fan. But the way Jack Kirby designed Journey into Mystery in the world of Asgard, it's a lot like... If you remember the Masters of the Universe movie starring Dolph Lundgren and Frank Langella, a lot of people said that is Jack Kirby's fourth world Thor-like universe. It's all this barbarian sword and sorcery. We still have marketplaces and wear togas and speak in thou Shakespearean words.
Yeah,
but then we fly around with gunships with laser cannons on them. Kind of like T'Challa, aka the Black Panther, lives in, he makes his entire people live like they still are living tribesmen of Africa 500 years ago. No emerald cities reaching the sky, no office buildings, but they have massive weapon technology at their disposal so that when you walk into their tribes, they look like they're holding spears and sticks. And you go, oh, we could take over this African village. No. No. That is called subterfuge.
Cannons.
Yes, they have laser cannons on flying boat ships in Asgard. As Thor put it in the first movie, what you call science, we call magic, and it's one and the same where we come from.
Oh, what was that thing they had that was a soul guard?
Yes.
And it was really a particle accelerator or something. I can't even remember.
And Rene Russo whips out the lightsaber to fight Malachi with or whatever. By the way, this was because everyone was just like, is that Rene Russo standing in the background not doing anything whatsoever? She's this great actress at one point, and she was like the top A-list actress, and all of a sudden she's not doing anything in a Thor movie, so she turns around and, fights Malachi in the movie. And it's actually one of the moments in the... Malekith, I'm sorry. One of the moments in the movie that, when you see it, you're just like, Yeah. And what was her name? Federal? Frigga, yes. And somebody that Loki actually cares about.
Mm-hmm.
They do make a big emphasis on the fact that even though Loki is the people of Earth are nothing but ants that should be smushed, he does care about certain things, like his brother, Thor.
And his mama.
His adopted mother, yes.
Yeah. And I thought that was really important too, because that's something they brought up throughout the movie, but didn't really get explored. The fact that human lives are a flash in the pan compared to that of those of Asgard. You know, Thor's gonna outlive Jane by 5,000 years.
Yeah.
So they kept bringing it up, but it never came down to the point where anyone really broached the topic directly, or they decided anything. There was no resolution for it. They brought up Sif.
Yes, Lady Sif.
Yes.
The Warrior Three, even though one of them was pretty absent most of the movie because his home realm was unfortunately the where Thor fights the giant rock creature you've seen in the trailers probably about a dozen times. And Eric, what was the name of the actor who played Eric?
Ooh.
This is one of those things we'll have cleared up a little better later on, as we will probably have an IMDb list for us to look directly at and go, oh, Eric is played by... But you know the Jane's
I don't know,
boss...
I didn't put it in my review.
Jane's boss returns, of course, obviously still really screwed up from his experience in the Avengers, as he was the one character who had been taken possession of by Loki through 90% of that film. I mean, Hawkeye was broken free, and so was most of the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. But Eric was under Loki's thumb the entire film. So he went a little crazy.
So he wasn't holding it together too well, but he still was right on the money when he needed to be.
Yes. Kat Denning returns.
Oh, I love Kat Dennings.
Darcy.
But she plays the same character she always plays. And I do love Kat Dennings. I love her as a sassy sidekick. I love her with her big mouth and, like, you know.
Yes.
Being nice and working class and really, like, you know, kind of like me.
There is, of course, the famous end of the credits scene. We're not going to give away the ending of the movie, so it's the only spoiler we won't give away. But the end of the credits scene we will give away because it's already all over the internet. And it's already very well known, too, because the actor that is in it is the Collector, who collects stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much what he does. He collects stuff. That is his cosmic power. He collects stuff. And he collects...
Sounds like comic book nerds.
The ether is the power gem. And we find out that the Tesseract then is the mind gem, because the Tesseract is blue and the ether is red. And if you go online, and they'll probably be sticking to this in the movies, they list the Infinity Gems by color on the gauntlet. Now this, of course, again, is probably going to be set up for Avengers 3, as we are already aware that Avengers 2 will have the Adamantium Terminator himself, Ultron, in it.
They are talking about bringing Loki back, though.
That's Loki is
not leaving the Marvel Universe. Even though he won't be in the next Avengers movie, I don't know if he will be the main villain when they make the third Thor movie.
The big point about Loki
he'll be back.
Is he's not... Whereas,
and
like,
he
Magneto,
should be, because he was the only complex character in this movie. He was the only one with any depth at all. The only surprise.
The one thing I have to say about Loki, when villains show up in a storyline in comic books, they're done in like 1 or 2 or 6 issues, and they go away. They go to prison, they're dead, they whatever. Like Magneto's a 1 or 2 issue storyline villain. For some reason, he's in every single X-Men film, not the Wolverine. Well, he is in the last Wolverine film too. He's in every single X-Men film. There's no reason for that at all. Have him come back to the 3rd film, skip him over in the 2nd film, that's fine. But there's no reason. Loki, however, is like this, you know, he's kind of like the prince, one of the princes of Asgard. He's a prominent Thor regular character. He shows up in Thor constantly, you know, whether or not he's doing mischievous things or not. So that makes sense for him to be in almost every single Thor film. He's not the kind of villain like Dr. Octopus or the Green Goblin or Lex Luthor are. So I don't mind the fact that he's in every film, and Tom is fantastic.
Yes, he is.
There's a great YouTube video you can watch from Comedy Central where he's having a discussion with children. Who's better, Thor or Loki? And they're like, Thor! Why? Because he has a hammer, and he can smash stuff, and he's good, and he hangs out with the Avengers, and that hammer is awesome. Loki's just like, look, shoves this little girl aside and says, I just pushed you over with my bare hands. Who needs a hammer?
Well, that was like a whole,
and she's like crying.
Joke about the Avengers. Remember the part in the Avengers when the Hulk punches Thor in the arm and he goes flying? That's what that was. So he went over and punched her in the arm and she went flying. Yeah, so that was pretty funny, and he's really the best. And I don't think they thought the character was going to be as popular as he did become, and so I hope there are more parts that get written for Loki.
They compared Loki
awesome.
to General Zod last year when the Avengers came out. Actually, not the current General Zod played by Michael Sheen. Is that his name? The Man of Steel General Zod, but the Terrence Stamp General Zod. Who is the better villain in terms of like just like egomaniac take over the world type of thing? And they're like, oh, well, General Zod doesn't need an alien army to back him up. But, I mean, come on. Terrence Stamp does that in 2 films, and that's it. I mean, Loki is going to come back. Because what happens at the end of the movie, so.
Mm-hmm. I thought we weren't going to give away the end of the movie.
I didn't say we were going to give away the end of the movie.
Never mind.
I said what happens at the end of the movie. I didn't say what happens. Ah! Go see Thor.
We have like 30 seconds left. So, yeah, I like it.
Thor, by the way.
I thought it was a little predictable. It is. The good guys are always good. The bad guys are always bad. The only really deep character was Loki. Yeah. But it's good, and let's face it, all the Marvel movies are good. They're all good all the time, and you're going to go see it. Don't be too cool for it, but it's not going to be the best one. Sorry.
Don't be too cool for school.
Right.